Hello, I'm Amanda Sutt with Rock, Paper, Scissors, and today I want to walk you through photography made easy. We are in a world surrounded by cameras and pictures, and it's a core part of all of the marketing that we do. But it doesn't have to be hard. Not everything warrants a photo shoot because all of us walk around with great cameras with us at all times. And a lot of times the people within the organization have the best opportunity to take a great picture. So today we're going to walk through how you can take great pictures that can be used on your print materials and on your website and on your social media. It's just about kind of understanding the best practices for it so that you can get great pictures. So we're going to start with the definition of photography. And the etymology of the word comes from Greek, and it's a combination of light and graph, and it really just means to draw with light. So when we put those together, that's what we're thinking about. We're thinking about the light that is created by bouncing off objects to show what is going on. We do a lot more with that, but that just gives you an idea of what is so important when we look at photography. And photos that support design are really important when we're looking at all of this because 90% of the information that the human brain processes is visual. So it's an important thing to be thinking about. If we're going to write something, it really helps if you have a picture to support it. It's going to help somebody comprehend that because approximately 65% of the human population is visual learners. So if all you're doing is writing out text, you're not going to be connecting with the audience that you have. So before we get into the details of this, I want to play a game. So I'm going to show you a collection of pictures, and I want you to consider how this picture was taken. Was it taken by a professional photographer? Was it taken, what kind of camera was it taken on? And that's the main thing. Was this a very fancy camera, or was this somebody's cell phone? First up, we have the adorable little kitty cat with this amazing reflection in the window. We have this awesome architectural shot. And then we have the Serengeti. All right, let's show them all side by side. Take a second, look and decide what you think. Because the answer is these are all iPhone pictures. So amazing stuff can be taken with your iPhone. All right, so with that, I want to build your confidence that you can take a great picture because the best camera is the one you have on you. So always consider that. So as we're starting to break this down, there are 3 things that great images need. They need great lighting, they need good technique, which we're going to talk about, and you need a good opportunity. You want the thing that's very interesting. Once again, this is storytelling, so you want to have something that's really interesting. So let's get into the technique part so that you are ready when that opportunity strikes, and that'll be talking a little bit about lighting as well. First up, clean your camera. Your phone gets fingerprints all over it. Be sure to use a little cleaner on it every once in a while. Alcohol swabs are fine, or any of the glasses cleaners. Make sure you're just taking care of the equipment that you have. Also, support. They make great little tripods for your camera, but you know what? You can also use your hands. If you're going to hold and take a picture, consider using 2 hands for more support, or supporting your elbow as you're doing things, or actually putting your camera on an actual object so that you don't jostle it around as much. 2 hands are much more stable than 1. All right, on your phone, there's some settings you want to adjust. You want to turn on HDR, so high dynamic range. This is really going to make your pictures pop and give you a lot more dynamic color. Also recommend turning live photos off. It just compresses the file a lot more, so you're just going to get a better quality image, especially if you're going to go out and you know you're going to be taking pictures to promote your organization. Just turn that off. You can keep it for your fun stuff at home, but if you're going to go take pictures in this regard, it's just best to turn that off. All right. Before you start taking pictures, you also want to do a little bit of planning of what this starts to look like. First, you want to actually think about what that picture is going to be used on. So for instance, I'm showing you, we knew we were going to do a horizontal graphic. Well, if we look at this picture, we needed to find a picture that was horizontal or take a picture that was horizontal. So know what you're going to be creating. If you're going to be creating a tall linear brochure or an ad, you want to flip your phone this way to take a picture. If you're going to be taking a horizontal thing, something for the web, you want to flip this way. Because as you can see in this crop image here, I couldn't see very much of that building if I had to flip this the other direction. You also want to consider your body placement. You don't always just have to take a picture like this. You might want to get down on the floor with something and look up at it. You might want to look over, or just any combination of it. Also can consider putting your phone closer to you or even lower on your body. So those are just some things that'll make the picture interesting. You also might want to just consider taking the same shot from a couple different angles and just decide what's the better story. Light. Light is so important. So when you're looking at this, there's something called the golden hour, which is the beginning and the end of the day if you're doing outdoor shots, that creates, like in this picture, that warm color. But if that's not what you're going for and you want something cooler, you might want to think about an overcast day. Or if you can control and take a shot inside, that's great as well. Things that you cannot remove if you're going to edit your picture is shadows. So if you're going to take a picture of a person, you have a shadow across the face, you're not going to be able to fix that later. So those are some things to be thinking about when you take a picture. If you're taking pictures of a group of people, ask somebody to move out of a shadow. Most people want a good picture of themselves, so don't hesitate to make sure everybody has a good shot. Lighting is so critical. As I said, it's the one thing you can't edit, and you also want to take a picture with the plan of not having to edit it. All right, setting your shot. That was all the planning, thinking about all the things that you can control. All right, you're in the middle of the shot. A really important thing is to consider the rule of thirds. And you can actually turn the grid on your phone so you can already see that when you're going to take a picture. You want to think about this you can look at your horizon line. You want to think about that where you're placing people or important objects. It just makes the picture more interesting because it creates more white space and movement around it. You also want to think about point of view. There's different ways you could take a picture. Like for this baboon, you can go super close up on it and it's a little bit more interesting than something that's further away. Or these coffee beans, got up right close to it to see the dynamic and the movement within the way that those coffee beans are growing is a lot more interesting than zooming that way far back and just seeing a green bush with a couple little red berries on it. But on the flip side, sometimes it's really great to zoom out, like this wide angle shot where you really get to an idea of the environment. Those elephants are really big, but they look tiny here to give you an idea of how big that space is. So it tells a different story. Also want to think about the composition of what's going on in that shot. S-curves are great because that creates some movement in it. You also want to look in directional lines like these zebras moving. You can do this with architecture as well if you have a row of columns. You also want to think about white space and following the action. So this cheetah, it's a much more interesting shot when we get an idea of how far it's looking off and what its environment and surroundings are. So with all of those quick little tips for creating a great picture, this is the workflow that we always recommend is you shoot your picture, you review your picture, like look at it right there, learn what you liked and you didn't like, make some adjustments, and then reshoot. That right there is going to help you create better pictures every time. And as I said, take your time and work through those pictures. So hopefully this was helpful, and let us know if you have any other further questions about it.